Welcome to Bluxe Century's MagCast. I am Joseph Farodoye, and if you're listening to this, it's likely because you're interested in value. Not the loud kind, but the kind that reveals itself quietly over time. Today, I want to talk to you about the second-hand luxury watch market. Not as a trend, not as a shortcut, but as a signal. For decades, luxury watches were sold on permanence. Buy once, hold forever, value assumed. But markets evolve, and when they do, the real intelligence moves away from the showroom and into the data. That's exactly what's happening here. The market without the noise. The second-hand market for watches is no longer secondary in any meaningful sense. It's global, it's measurable, and it's now worth tens of billions of pounds. After the excess of the post-pandemic surge, prices corrected. Then something more interesting happened. They stabilized. Not everywhere, not evenly, but selectively, by brand, by model, and by liquidity. This isn't a collapse story. It's a sorting mechanism. And sorting mechanisms are where opportunities live. Retail is still relevant, just not final. Authorized retailers still matter. They define retail pricing. They set the ceiling, but the ceiling is not the truth. The truth is what people actually pay quietly, repeatedly, without ceremony. That truth lives in the secondary market. The difference between retail price and market price isn't a flaw in the system. It is the system. And once you understand that, you stop buying stories and start buying signals. Brands don't move together, models do. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is this idea that brand strength guarantees value. It doesn't. Value is reference specific. Some brands anchor the market, but only in particular models. Others offer extraordinary second-hand value once the retail premium disappears. And some are misunderstood entirely. Volatile at retail, but honest on the secondary market. If you remember one thing from this magcast, let it be this. Logos don't hold value, liquidity does. Depreciation isn't failure. A watch trading 40, 50, or even 60% below retail is not broken. It's been paid for by someone else. If the watch has already absorbed its retail premium, if it trades consistently, and if its provenance is clean, then depreciation isn't a warning sign. It's an entry point. For the wearer, not the speculator, this is where luxury begins to make sense again. Liquidity is the only metric that matters. When we assess watches at Bluxe Century, we ask three simple questions. How fast does it sell? How often does it trade? And how wide is the gap between retail and market? Liquidity is behavior. It doesn't care about opinions. A watch that sells steadily at a discount is often healthier than a hype piece that doesn't move. This is how professionals think. It's how capital thinks. Quietly, without attachment. Basel still sets the rhythm. Basel no longer shouts the way it once did, but Switzerland still whispers. Production limits, release timing, and industry signaling continue to ripple through the market months later. Prices don't move at announcement. They move when supply and sentiment finally align. If you understand that lag, you stop reacting, start positioning. How I would use the market today. Here's the simplest rule I know. If a watch trades 25 to 50% below retail and does so with proven liquidity, it isn't a compromise. It's a rational decision. The smartest collectors aren't asking what's rare. They're asking what's mispriced. My overview. Secondhand is no longer the shadow of luxury. It's its clearest mirror. And in a world where taste, capital, and timing increasingly overlap, clarity becomes the ultimate luxury. This magcast accompanies the Bluxe Century editorial on secondhand watches and marks the beginning of a wider series exploring how modern value actually behaves. Thank you for listening. Move quietly, observe carefully, and as always, those who see early tend to move first. I'm Joseph Farodoye. This is Bluxe Century MagCast.